Odin is a very cool programming language that I've been made aware of again in recent days, like the past 2 days. I didn't know this language already existed because there was a time when I was just looking randomly at like C++ and C competitors, right? Because you have Rust, Zig, Nim might be a lesser known one, and Odin is also probably lesser known. Although I was actually surprised to find out that Odin is actually more popular now than Nim, or like at least like it's showing more promise with its development than Nim is. Although I mean, still most people are just focused on Rust and Zig. But like the point is, Odin is also another interesting language, and in particular, it is a alternative to C, not C++. So this will be very interesting, and I'm very curious to see how it. Very curious to see how it is. So yeah, so it's a data-oriented language, much like Zig, I guess, right? Is Zig data-oriented? Yeah, because like it's this idea of data-oriented design, where you try to optimize data, I guess. I watched like a few talks by Andrew Kelly, right, the creator of Zig, about it. Yeah, it's very interesting. So it's cool that it's interesting rather that Odin is also a data-oriented language, or at least leans heavily into that thing. It makes you wonder how the two languages differ then in like philosophy as well. It says programming done right, bold claim, and another bold claim: a general purpose programming language. Now Zig is also general purpose, as is Rust, as is C++, right? So although this is like a C, Zig is also like a C replacement alternative, they do ultimately end up also competing with like C++ and Rust, right? Because like they're still in the general purpose, also systems programming space that do not have garbage collectors, right? With distinct typing, built for high performance, modern systems, and data-oriented programming. Odin is a C alternative for the joy of programming. Very cool. Now, I will say, this does actually give me quite a bit of joy. There's a Discord community. I might have to join that. Now, before I go any further, let me just turn on my fucking light, because it's so dark right now. Does that make a difference? No. Okay, it's just my background, unfortunately. Maybe if I move my camera... Actually, I have this now. I have a stack of books over here, so I can actually put this back to where it was before. 1 second. Yeah. Oh, we're so back. We are so back, chat. It also means that my thing's away from my monitor. Okay, well, I mean, it doesn't mean that if I look at my monitor, I'm looking that way, which is a bit awkward. But anyway, so I'm looking this way. Yeah, so let me flip my... Yeah, let me flip my screen back. Right now it's mirrored anyway. Right, this is my left hand. Yeah, so that should be the other way around. Flip horizontal. There we go. Yeah. So hello. Now I can talk to my camera here. I'm not get distracted by my monitor as well. Anyway. Yeah. So let's have a look. So the other principles are simplicity, designed for readability, scalability, and orthogonality. Orthogonality, as I said about the first time, of concepts. Simplicity is complicated to get right. Clear is better than clever. I agree. Orthogonality. What are we saying about that? I've heard it before, but I can't remember. Orthogonality means that operations change just one thing without affecting others. Like modularity, in a way. Supposed printed constructs can be combined in a relatively small number of ways to build the control and data structures of the language. It is associated with simplicity. The more orthogonal the design, the fewer exceptions. Is it easier to learn? Okay, that's an interesting concept for programming in general. High performance. I do like how simplicity is the first thing here. Zig is anything but simple, so already that's quite a thing. I mean, I know that like Zig is very like atomic, but like syntactically it is quite hard to parse, honestly. Now I'm not someone who's programmed in Zig. I'm not used to coding in Zig, so I mean, it mentioned that I'm not used to reading it, but like from a first glance, it does not look particularly easy to read, or simple, I should say. Rather, Zig strikes me as like more atomic than simple. Like Zig wants you to be able to do everything in Zig, like without having to learn like a bunch of different systems, which I get. Like it's very useful, but it means that because you don't have dedicated systems for different things, it means you're using the same syntax for everything, which can make things become quite complicated, like when they compound, if that makes sense. High performance. Odin allows for the highest performance through low-level control over the memory layouts, memory management, and custom allocators, and so much more. I do wonder how the custom allocators work compared to Zig. I think for Zig, you don't have default ones. You have to always specify them. I do wonder. I think Nim does give you default ones, but you can change them optionally. Or I might be thinking of a different language. I might be thinking of Odin, but we'll see. I'm again like I haven't used Zig, so I'm not so familiar with like this idea even of custom allocators, but I do know that for most projects you don't really care that much about him, but maybe I'm just not locked in on the detail-oriented design. For modern systems, yeah, that kind of goes without saying, right? SOA data types and array programming and other features. What, like SIMD, SAMD? Yeah, SIMD, okay. Cool. Joy of programming. We go into programming because we love to solve problems. Why shouldn't our tools bring us joy whilst doing it? Enjoy programming again with Odin. Dude, that does sound good, I will say. While I'm here, actually, let me just look at the Zig page and see how it differs. See, it was just as simple, but it's simple in terms of no hidden control flow, which makes things... like, whether or not this is simple is really debatable. No hidden memory allocations. Again. And then no people... I mean, like this definitely makes it simple. Like, these two, it depends on your definition of simple, right? With Odin, it seems more simple is more like... readability, scalability, and orthogonality, right? Which is quite different than just, like... hiding control flow. Sorry, not hiding control flow. Like you still want to you still want to scale well, and I do wonder how Zig scales. One example of something that I kind of my doubts about with Zig is like, let's say that like the defer keyword or the defer pattern. I don't know if I prefer that to RAII, right? Like in C++, where things just, where like you have these structures. Obviously those are implicit, but I don't know. Not everything needs to be explicit per se, because like at what point do you stop and like let things become implicit, right? In production, that's cool. Okay. Companies use projects by Django. Okay, kind of cheating, but sure. Odin comes with high quality packages out of the box in its core library. Nice. What? As official libraries for OpenGL, Vulkan, Direct. Oh, that's sick. I wonder why. And Raylib. Yeah, that's cool. Really? No way. So if I look at like OpenGL. Sorry, who owns this company? Or like this thing? Ginger Bill. Is that a solo person? Because that's impressive to have like those already, right? Although my assumption is that unlike Zig, because like Zig is going to struggle to get like proper library support, like proper ecosystem if it keeps breaking its stuff. But if Odin has been like more on the web, like out for release for longer, because this is up to version 4.6, so it seems like Odin's been out for a while already. So it would make sense that it has a decent amount of library support, especially if it has a fairly strong community. Cool. There's a Reddit. Okay. Odin is open source. Awesome. Yeah. I do wonder why like Rust's ecosystem, like does Rust have like OpenGL bindings? I guess it does. No, does it? Well, like not official, right? I don't know. It's interesting. Anyway. Yeah. So this is the actual language over here. Let me do like this actually. Yeah. So this is the actual language. It's very small. You know, actually, let me just. How would you see examples like this? Hello. Okay, that's a bit too many comments for my liking. Whatever. So we've got package main, import like this with strings. This looks weird to me, but like if you. Like an airstrike outside. This looks normal to me. Sorry, this looks weird to me, but that's because I'm used to either C++ having angled braces, although you can also use quotation marks to be fair, or like languages like Rust or even C++ for modules, just not even using quotation marks at all. So yeah, that just stands out to me. I don't know why it uses quotation marks, but anyway. This is cool though. Main proc, right? So you have the name of the function. It's not prefixed, by the way. It's not prefixed by function like fn whatever, which is also interesting. And instead of calling it a function, you have proc for process, which I think is very cool. I just said that it doesn't have function. I guess it does. I do wonder if this is how you define all processes, or if it's like a specific type of function. But I do like just in general the idea of calling these processes, because functions in maths, like the idea of a function is very different. You know, like a pure function is different from a process. These programming functions are more like processes, and I've waited a long time to see a popular language really change that naming scheme. You know, like Rust is cool and all, but I really don't like how it doesn't, for some reason, it just doesn't really fix the syntax issues. I know that it makes it easier to learn for people who are like already used to C++, whatever, but like, just change stuff, you know? Like, why do we still have semicolons? This language seemingly does not require semicolons, which I think is great. It uses Go style, I believe it's Go style fucking assignment. Program equals this, accumulator equals this, plus equals, minus equals, times equals, divide equals. We got a for loop for token in program. Very simple. No braces here that are unnecessary, like Rust, to be fair. A switch statement with cases. Format.printf. The program calculates the value this. Interesting. So it actually just used for like printf, like C style. Mind you, it is a C style language, but I don't know how safe these are compared to like standard format in C++ or Rust's way of formatting stuff. So that is quite interesting. FMT being a package, right, but not being capitalized is also quite interesting. I don't know how to feel about that. I got array programming. So we're defining different scopes, I guess. I'm not so familiar with array programming, but what are we doing? We're doing an array of F82s, Okay, nice. So it uses like F32 instead of like float. I wonder if it has the same like I believe in Zig, you could do like a U7 for 7 bits for a 7-bit unsigned integer. I wonder if you can do the same in this language, because it would be cool to have that flexibility. Although it is quite niche. Okay, C equals A times B. Right. So what does it mean to multiply 2 of these together? This is like 5 times what times 5, 2 times 6, 3 times 7. Is that what you get? Is that what you get? Sorry. That'd be interesting. Because like you can't usually multiply or like do arithmetic on lists, or on arrays. Sorry, in C++ or C even. I don't think so. At least it's not something I've ever successfully tried to do. So what? You get like what? 5, 18, 21. Here you get 6, 8, 10, right? They're doing 1 plus C minus D over 2. So if we take the first one, it's 5 minus 6 negative 1, right? Plus 1, 0 over 2. No? Yeah, I have no idea. Okay then. Swizzle. Okay, I don't know what that means. I do wonder what the colon equals is meant to be for specifically, and if a single equals ever comes around. Because here with this Boolean thing, we're using double equals. So is single equals even a thing, or is this for like type inference? I do assume it's for type inference. At least I hope it is, because I think this is a cool way to do type inference anyway. Because obviously the types are not being named here, right? Distinct. That's interesting. Vector 3 : colon. So we have like Haskell style type declarations, which is quite cool. I mean, it's cool because it's Haskell. That's my take. You got vector 3. That's nice. Like an actual vector. Ooh. How's this work? This is inside main, right? The main function. We're defining another process called cross, and cross explicit, and blah. And we can run them. So you can declare functions within other functions. Okay. SOA types, N2? What? N of type 2. I get this, right? It's a struct of XYZ F32. Ooh, that's cool. If you use commas, you can wrap them under one value. That's quite useful. Syntax. Huh. That is quite interesting, actually. I do actually have something to say in general about this idea of a vector. Like, let's say I have a vector 3 of this, right? In a language that has structs, arrays, and tuples, why would I use a struct XYZ over an array over a tuple? And I guess the answer is named parameters, but it is interesting. I guess in general, if you're making a data type, you should use a struct, right? Like a named data type. Only use arrays if you're like using it to store arrays. But like if you're creating like a user defined type, then struct should probably be the way to go. And what's this mean? N of type 2. Or is it just like a compile time constant? Like I assume this means 2 vector 3s. Interesting. We have format our print line. Even though there's no formatting going on. I don't know what distinct means. Okay. Interesting here. Context system. In each scope, there is an implicit value named context. This context value is local to each scope and is implicitly passed by pointer to any procedure call. The main purpose is for the ability to intercept third-party code in libraries and modify the functionality. Okay, that's cool. So you could change how like they log and whatever. Macros in C++, you could probably overload. So C context. Okay, so that's a keyword. Context user index is 456. Allocator. User index. What a fool believes. It's interesting. Reflection. Okay, so it uses core instead of standard std. Foo struct. Trailing comments are allowed. What's a tag? Xint tag 1. What's a tag? Is this a tagged union or something? Or is it just, is it like purely just, I think you can see the reflection. Type ID of foo. Names, yeah. Struct field tags. What would you use tags for? I'm curious. Other than just like storing extra metadata or something. Okay. Enough staying at the home page. Let's read the docs. From the very beginning. So, there are 3 mains, official releases, whatever. This is on same page. Latest release. Okay, so it's by year. Any version numbers? Maybe. FreeBSD, OpenBSD, NetBSD, Linux, Windows, Linux, and macOS. Interesting. How it's ordered. Odin needs the MSVC compiler and Windows SDK for Windows. Okay. Okay. Overview. Right. This article is an introduction to the Odin programming language. You're assumed to have basic knowledge of programming concepts such as variables, statements, and types. Of course, you will see how familiar things are done in Odin while also being introduced to new concepts. If you haven't already installed Odin, do that. I have not. But tell you what, I should be able to use Compiler Explorer. I assume it has Odin support, or at least I'd be surprised if it doesn't. Oh yeah, I was testing some memorization in C. Yeah, this looks legit. What? So you like package main, import core, standard. Was it 2 or 1? I think 1. Sorry, core FMT, and then we do main of type proc for process. FMT.println hello world. Did I cook? This is the May build. Yep, that compiles. Holy moly, I'm the goat. To begin this tour, let's start with the modified version of the famous of blah, blah, blah. Okay, save this code to an Odin file. Write it with Odin. That's cool. The run compiles the Odin to an executable that runs it. Right, so very much like cargo, right? Cargo builds, cargo run. At least so far. Odin thinks in terms of directory-based packages. Okay. variable declarations. Yeah. So you give it a type int like this, and I assume x of type int equals 5. I assume that's valid. Yeah, so that's where the single equal sign comes into play. I see. So you use the other one for type inference. And you also have like these literals. No. But this works. It's a bit slow, I will say that. They must be unique within a scope. Okay, so no funky. Wait, what? Why is this allowed, but this isn't? Variables are initialized to 0. Interesting. That may have performance implications. Although you can specify otherwise. Okay, that makes sense. So the default behavior is the slower behavior, but also the more safe behavior, which I think is correct. Oh my god, but I'm fighting for my life right now. Again, I've not slept. Sorry, this is a different recording. I haven't mentioned it yet. I have not slept since the night before. I'm pulling an all-nighter, so yeah. If you're wondering why, it's because if I sleep now, I will be screwed for my exams. I need to be able to wake up at like 8 a.m. and since I couldn't sleep last night, I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm not gonna screw my sleep schedule. I have an exam on Wednesday in 2 days, so I really need to like get it together. Yeah, insomnia is a bitch. Sorry, why is this allowed but this isn't? These look identical now. Or is it not allowed and I'm just dumb? Like, can I do y equals 15? Like this. No, okay. So it's not allowed. So you call shadow, unlike rust, which is fair enough. Assignment statement. The assignment statement assigns a new value to a variable location. Right, so just equals. Yikes. I do want to see a language. Well, they probably exist, but I do like languages. Like the idea of using a backwards arrow for assignment. Yeah. You can see multiple. You can assign multiple variables with it. This is quite cool. Probably not even. This is good practice. I guess why not, right? These are 2 tokens. Yeah. Right. So these are equivalent. Literals. This is a string. This is a char. New line. You can escape with backslash. Pretty normal. Raw string literals are enclosed in single backticks. Yeah. So rather than do like the R parentheses thing that C does, you just do backticks, which is interesting. Because other languages would use backticks for like strings where you could insert stuff, like variables into them directly. Can't exactly remember what the exact term's called, but this is a good use of string literals, raw ones. The length of a string can be found using the built-in len proc. Ooh, so is proc just a function? Maybe. So length of food, length of some string. Interesting that it's not dot length. I do wonder if there are any function if there's dot syntax in this language. I know Zig supports it. More as like a syntactic sugar, but anyway. Bunch of escape characters. Okay. Numbers. Oh, that's right. You can use underscores for referability as opposed to commas, right? Which is quite cool, yeah. Very creative. A number that contains a dot is floating point literal. If a number literal is suffixed with I, it is an imaginary number literal. Oh, I forgot about this one. 2 multiply the square root of -1. So it just natively supports imaginary numbers. That's interesting. I mean that is the way to do it, right? And unless you wouldn't like have to implement it yourself through like some class or something. So if I do 10i plus, well, 3 minus 10i. Yeah, can I just print directly, or is it not valid? Because of like types and all that. It does work. Okay, cool. If I change the order of this, will it be the same? So right now it says 3 minus 10i. If I swap it around, it should be the same. -3 plus 10i. Alright, because I changed the signage. Yeah, cool. Nice. Comments, same as C, except comments can be nested, unlike C. Oops. There are parsers tokens, which allows for future work on documentation tools. Okay, so not yet declared then yet, I guess. Or like defined, implemented. Constant declarations. Yeah, so a constant is literally treated as like a type. Constants are entities which have an assigned value. The constant's value cannot be changed. That's very cool. Very cool indeed. Oh, okay, so a double colon is also 2 tokens. Because the first one is what's the type, and the second one is what's the constant. Interesting. Interesting indeed. So like having this, like y equals this, is like having y colon colon, let's say 3 plus 10i. Yeah, that's quite interesting actually. Okay, I dig it. But then this is also used for what, like type declarations? I mean, at least it is for proc, right? These books are really in my way. Packages. Ginger Bill's articles. So Ginger Bill created the language, right? And this is blog. This is really good to read. Save it to my obsidian for later. There's one project. I feel like I've seen this before. The aesthetic problem of namespacing. Blessed syntax and ergonomics. Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting posts here that I would love to look at. Even more so than I'd have to look at like Andrew Kelly's posts, because these ones seem a lot more focused on like making things look nice, whereas Zig is less concerned with that, which I think could be an issue for Zig. Right. So the core is a collection. By convention, the package name is the name at the last element in the import path. So core FMT would be FMT. But you can specify a different name. Okay, so that's cool. I think. So that's you can do like aliases, right? All declarations in a package are public by default. You can set it to private. Okay. Interesting module system. Odin has only a for loop, so it does not have a while loop. Or like a loop. Basic for loop, has 2 components. Classic, right? So it does support this though, which Rust doesn't, I don't think. Unless I'm wrong, in which case sue me. I colon equals 0. Cool, you don't have to specify the type, I guess, right? Thanks to type inference. I mean, you could do auto, I guess, in C++, but this just makes it less verbose overall, however minor. It seems to not have I++, which is an interesting choice. I wonder why not. But okay. Yeah, there are no parentheses. Braces are always required. Or a do. Okay. This do thing is weird. Yeah, that's really weird. I don't understand why that's supported. Is there more to it that meets the eye? But yeah, I do like braces being enforced. That's really cool. And I like not needing parentheses. The initial and post statements are optional. Right. So if I want to do an infinite loop, we'll just do for : : these semicolons can be dropped. Oh shit, okay. So for like this is just a while loop. I wonder why call it for and not like loop then. I feel like loop would be a better name. But okay. And then if I just drop everything, it's just for. That's cool. I do like that. Name aside. And then this is a range-based for loop. Like this, use an actual range. Fair enough. You probably would just want to use this, right? Unless like you're doing some like funky thing here with a condition. You probably just always do this, like you would in Rust, right? Hello, Sakai. Certain button types can be iterated over. Right, but only built-in ones? Can you have user-defined ones? Feature dynamic literals. Interesting. I see defer here. Second index value. That's for like the index, yeah, that's interesting. There are copies. It is possible to iterate a string in a by reference manner as strings are immutable. Right. Reverse iteration. Whoa, what's this? Directive. That's funky. So you can do hashtag reverse before a for loop to make it go backwards. I mean, it's quite useful, honestly, if you want to like just quickly reverse it without having to like rewrite the entire logic. But it is a bit strange. Ooh. Also, does question mark here mean like auto for like size? For loop unrolling. Various sorts of performance improvements. So then, does the compiler not do unrolling automatically, or does it only do it if you say so? Because it is interesting. Oh my god! I need my body to not shut down right now, because I will fall asleep if I'm not careful. Yeah, so these directives are quite interesting. I do wonder about those. If statements can also have to do, I guess. Okay. Else if instead of elif. You can declare inside an if statement, but it's a scope like C, C++, Odin Arch. Okay. So then no match statements. Is that what it's saying? No match. No matching. Odin runs only the selected case. So no break. That's quite cool, actually. The case values do not need to be integers or constants, so they can be like strings. There's a fall through keyword. Whoa, you can match some booleans? Oh no, without a condition. So I guess it is like a match, but just with more functionality. Partial switch. Do we see that already? I do apologize. I'm really struggling to stay awake here. And we have union types of int and bool, case int, case bool. Ooh, damn, that is actually pattern matching. That is very significant. They have defer whole block. This is in verse, okay. Ugh. Okay. Different from goes of defer. What about zigs defer? When statement. Oh, that's interesting. Each condition must be a constant expression. Says compile time. No new scope. No initial statement. Okay. Like the hashtag if preprocessor. I get that. Cool. Branches. You can break out of a switch and then break out of a for. You can specify the name of what you want to break out of. That's cool. That's actually really good. This like basically solves like any use you would need for goto, like that people you would usually argue for goto. This completely just solves that issue. So that's very cool. Continue, of course, fall through, procedures, right. Sorry, so yeah, so they're functions or methods, just with a different name in this language, which I do like. Procedures can take 0 more parameters, of course. Oh, so you can shadow. Okay. But like only in function arguments. Variadic parameters. Ooh, how's this look? Just ... So easy. Multiple results. Named results. Okay. Well, that's cool. I do want to keep looking through this later, but I'm low-key zoning out right now because I'm just so tired. So I'm gonna stop the video there, but yeah, I do want to keep exploring Odin. Maybe even like try programming in it, because it does look quite cool. I just wonder how it will compare to C++ really in Rust. So if it's interesting, might give it a try. Otherwise, I'll just look at the documentation, see what it's all about. So yeah, subscribe for that. And yeah, sorry, I'm just so tired because again, all-nighter. Not my fault, okay? It was genuine insomnia. I couldn't sleep, and now I'm fucked.